Live local now at 11. President Biden out of the 2024 race. What we know after today's historic announcement. And politicians across the country and here at home sharing their thoughts on social media, more on their focus for the future. Plus, another downtown business vandalized after a string of recent thefts. We hear from those affected. Jerry.
Well, thunderstorms dampen the Southeast Valley this evening. Does that portend some heat relief? I'll let you know.
We continue to follow the news that shook the nation today. President Joe Biden officially ending his re-election campaign. Thank you for joining us tonight at 11 o'clock. I'm Sasha Loftus. Here's what we know right now. The president released a statement just after 10:30 this morning, confirming that he was stepping aside to focus on the remainder of his term. A short time later, the president endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to replace him as the Democratic nominee. In the statement, President Biden also said that he would address the nation later this week. He has been isolating in Delaware since Wednesday after testing positive for COVID-19. Now, President Biden's decision came amid growing pressure from many in his party after last month's rough debate to performance. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand has the latest tonight from the White House.
President Biden has dropped out of the presidential race, ending his bid for re-election just 4 months before the November vote. In a statement, the president said in part, quote, "While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." Biden's decision followed a debate performance that prompted more than 36 Democratic lawmakers to urge him to pull out of the race. One of his closest allies, Delaware Senator Chris Coons, called it a very difficult decision.
The challenge of seeing this moment and of recognizing what was in the best interest of the nation was a significant challenge. I still believe he could have beaten Donald Trump.
The president's change of heart comes 1 month ahead of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Jamie Harrison is the chair of the DNC.
This president, Joe Biden, has been a transformational president. He's been a great leader.
President Biden offered his full support and endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris. In a statement, she said she's honored and that it's her intention to earn and win the nomination. Political heavyweights are already backing Vice President Harris, including both Clintons and many members of Congress.
The framework of the race is clear at this point. Kamala Harris is going to prosecute this case for democracy and freedom across the country.
Across the country, voters reacted. From the battleground state of Wisconsin,
Biden dropping out now really kind of changes a lot of what I was thinking as well, having to learn about a new candidate.
To the nation's capital, where some supporters gathered to express their admiration for the president, including David Kiva, who has worked for him.
I'm here today to help to celebrate his legacy and all that he's accomplished on so many issues, including the one that I work on, which is climate.
The DNC says in the coming days, the party will undertake a transparent and orderly process to move forward as a united Democratic Party. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Now, it's worth noting President Biden's last campaign stop as a candidate was right here in Las Vegas last week at Lindo, Michoacan on Desert Inn. This was during what was supposed to be a 2-day visit, but the president's trip was cut short after he tested positive for COVID. We've heard reactions from politicians all across the country and right here at home after the president stepped out of the race for the White House today. Tonight, 8 News Now's Kyle Payne spoke with Nevada Congressman Stephen Horsford, and Kyle, the Nevada delegation putting their support behind Vice President Harris.
Sasha, Congressman Horsford, of course, is the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. He, like most of our local Democratic delegation, is behind Kamala Harris, as you say. Horsford spoke on the phone with Vice President Harris after President Biden's departure from the campaign, and he says she's the one to beat Donald Trump in November.
The Republicans are running for the hills. They know that the vice president is someone who appeals to a broad section, a diverse section of our population. She's been to Nevada 6 times this year alone.
Representative Stephen Horsford all in on Vice President Kamala Harris, whose most recent visit to Nevada was earlier in July, just a few days before President Biden left the campaign trail right here in Las Vegas because
he just tested positive for COVID.
Horsford was with President Biden on that trip, making a campaign stop with him at an economic summit at College of Southern Nevada, and then at Mario's West Side Market in the Las Vegas Valley.
I've been with the president. I understand how important and how difficult of a decision this was for him to make. But ultimately, he's passed the baton to his vice president.
So who would you like to most run against if you're us, if we want to win? Ready? Kamala Harris.
Former President Donald Trump preparing a crowd at a rally Saturday in Michigan for the possibility he might face President Biden come November, but that he also might face Vice President Harris. The latter just fine with Nevada Representative Horsford.
And the choices couldn't be more clear. The vice president, who's a former prosecutor, who will prosecute the case against Donald Trump.
Congressman Horsford is up for re-election himself. He told me he knows Nevada will be as crucial in 2024 as it was before President Biden stepped out of the race, knowing full well the Democrats took Nevada's 6 delegates in the hotly contested 2020 presidential race. Sasha.
Kyle, thank you so much. Now, Congressman Horsford also says he would expect Vice President Harris, if she is the Democratic nominee, to debate former President Trump after she accepts the nomination. Now, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto also endorsing Vice President Harris, saying, quote, Harris has the experience and proven record to be our next president. She's a fighter who we can count on to deliver for our working families, defend women's rights, and protect our democracy. Just a few minutes ago, Congresswoman Dina Titus also endorsed Harris. She said in quote, it is time for Democrats to unite behind Kamala Harris as our nominee. She is a proven fighter for women's productive freedoms and protecting democracy. I look forward to helping her stop Donald Trump and Project 2025 this November. Other prominent Nevada lawmakers and candidates also weighing in on President Biden's decision. Nevada Senator Jackie Rosen releasing a statement that says, in part, President Biden has served our country in public office with dignity and integrity for decades. I thank President Biden for his leadership and respect his decision to not seek re-election. Meanwhile, her November election opponent, Sam Brown, says in part, while the Democratic Party is in disarray and more divided than ever before, the Republican Party is united behind President Trump. Now, the state Republican Party had some choice words about what Biden's exit means for both parties, saying in a statement, the party remains committed to offering Nevadans a clear choice in November. A vote for President Trump and the entire Republican ticket is a vote for a return to prosperity and a bright future for America. Democrats continue to espouse failed policies that hurt everyday Nevadans. Now, as we continue to bring you new developments on this story, stay with 8 News Now, both on air and online. Good day starting at 4 a.m. You can find a full story on our website, 8newsnow.com.
Well, our Black Mountain camera, which had some raindrops on it about an hour ago, shows you the cloud cover, which is moving rather quickly through the valley and dumping some moisture down in parts of Henderson and the East Valley. Look at this, 92, noticeably cooler down on St. Rose Parkway. It's still 100 in Nellis, 96 now out at Reed. And they have had some winds tonight associated with those thunderstorms. Here's Valley Doppler. And you can see the moisture moving through. In fact, well, let's close in. Let's go street level. And you can see down, in the Burkholder Boulevard there, getting some showers. And moving into the Cadence area, some lightning strikes. So definitely still some action here in the valley. What we're looking at for the next 3 days is, again, a chance for thunderstorms, basically in the afternoon or evening, all 3 days. With temperatures, well, we're in a heat warning, around 110, 111, maybe even warmer than that. But the big story is those morning lows, which will be around 90 degrees. And that's tough to take. If we do get the thunderstorms, heavy rain, strong winds, and flooding, a distinct possibility. So the weather will definitely be worth following this week. Sasha?
Jerry, thank you. Stay with 8 News Now as we work through this latest heat wave. Our weather team has been rated most accurate 10 years in a row. You can also always download our free app. In other news tonight, another break-in downtown, weeks after several businesses in the Arts District reported chronic vandalism. Another business near the Huntridge Theater says it was hit. 8 News Now reporter Madison Kimbrough joins us live near Charleston and Maryland Parkway tonight with the details. Madison.
Winnie and Ethel's just opened about a year ago, but already it's made a name for itself. You can see it behind me right here. And recently, they had to close their doors temporarily due to copper wire theft.
Unfortunately, the cooling unit that keeps everything together had been totally disassembled. Copper pipes had been removed, the radiator had been removed and placed off to the side, and yeah, unfortunately it was pretty severely vandalized.
Mallory Gott of Winnie and Ethel's Downtown Diner is now just one of many small business owners who have had their properties vandalized in the area.
How'd you investigate that? Sorry.
Gott showing us around her diner that opened less than a year ago.
So this cooling area here essentially is not able to function correctly.
And while familiar with the chronic copper wire theft going on across the valley, she and her husband are now looking at a hefty bill in repairs with no time frame to when it will all be fixed. Fortunately, though, the diner was able to reopen on Sunday. But customers like Andrew Chow, who frequent the Hundred shopping area, not pleased that Winnie and Ethel's had to temporarily close due to crime, ultimately hurting their revenue.
A Saturday is a big moneymaker for, especially downtown. There's not a lot of foot traffic here.
And as for proper security on the premises, even he as a customer says it could be a lot more secure.
I don't even see one camera right now looking at the exterior of the building, and I believe that the owners of the complex should be able to provide that safety for the tenants.
As for other small businesses vandalized or broken into, Diggit Coffee in the Arts District, along with Tacotarian and Ocha Thai Cuisine, that was about 2 weeks ago. And then just right next door at Yukon Pizza, they were vandalized in April as they had their storefront shattered. Reporting here on Charleston and Maryland, Madison Kimbrough, 8 News Now.
As we've reported, copper wire theft continues to be a problem all across the valley. Clark County has even discussed creating a task force to combat the issue. Metro Police need your help finding a car they say is connected to a deadly hit and run. The crash happened near Harmon and Paradise around 1 o'clock this morning. Metro telling 8 News Now the man was crossing Harmon outside of a crosswalk when he was hit by an SUV that then drove away. The man was taken to Sunrise Hospital where he died. Investigators say the SUV will have damage to its right front headlight and hood. It has dark tint and apparent chrome rims. You can see this photo here. If you have any information, contact Metro or call Crime Stoppers. A live look now at Harry Reid International, where delays and cancellations continue after a major cyber outage crippled systems across the country last week. It also knocked banks offline, media outlets off air, and even impacted some hospitals. Now, at last check, things have cleared up quite a bit. 14 flights are delayed, with 10 reported cancellations. The start of the school year right around the corner, if you can believe that. Coming up at 11, how officials are ensuring kids get vaccinated before those classes begin. And some road work to watch for as we start the week, how to avoid those slowdowns. Jerry.
Well, what most of us wouldn't give are some cooler overnight temperatures. That's not going to happen tonight. A toasty forecast still ahead. You're watching 8 News Now at 11. We're live, local, now.